anyway, let's get to the NBA Finals. Last night was Game 6 of the NBA Finals. The Indiana Pacers staving off elimination against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Man, I am trying to find the score. You ever know you got shit on your iPad or whatever you looking at? All right, here we go. So the Pacers won last night 108-91, and honestly the score was not even as close as this. Shout out to Bromos in the chat. He said I'll be back, my hate watch. Stay with us, man. You gotta get through this. You know how many times I have to talk about teams and players I fucking hate?
Yeah.
You stay with us, brother. Stay with us. But this game was not as close as that score might lead you to believe. This was an ass whooping from the jump. It just was an overall thumping. And I think to me, why I knew the game was over is when Tyrese Halliburton got the steal, came down, hit him with the hee, and then, and gave him to Pascal Siakam for the dunk her around the world on Jalen Williams. But to me, man, I said this earlier today. I was on the homie Black Trey, his podcast, Hoop Sense. Check that out. And I was more disappointed by the Oklahoma City Thunder's play more than I was impressed by the Pacers, because you kind of felt like the Pacers knew they're going to come out and be aggressive with their season online. They've been great at home all playoffs. And also with, playing that way with Tyrese Halliburton having such an obvious injury in the calf injury you got to be careful with. We've seen calf injuries lead to Achilles injuries. We saw with Kevin Durant 6 years ago. We are already 2 Achilles popped in this postseason as this, with Damian Lillard in the first round and then Jason Tatum in the semifinals. So I thought they'd be a little bit more, protective and maybe not be a little more passive. But he looks good. I honestly know his calf was on fire and things like that, but he was great. That was a great play. Obi Toppin, 20 points off the bench. TJ McConnell. In fact, I said that taking TJ McConnell out of game 4 might have been the reason that the Pacers lost game 4. He went out there and had a great game. Pascal Siakam, if they win this NBA Finals, is going to be NBA Finals MVP. He was that great. And you can tell he's already got that championship experience from winning the championship in 2019. But overall, great performance. I think you got to give it to Neesmith. The way he guarded Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was incredible. If you look at Shai's box score, it looked like he had a good game, but 8 turnovers, bro. Nasty work. And I feel like even the games that he's had that's been good, and the same thing with Jalen Williams, those have not been easy buckets. This defense has really shown up to play. And it really felt like the Thunder went to this game saying, oh, we got game 7 on, which is a dangerous game to play. You do not want to play that. This is only the 5th game 7 in the NBA Finals in my lifetime. You had Lakers Pistons was 4 months before I was born in 88. So then we had 94 NBA Finals where it was Rockets and the Knicks. Rockets won that one real quick. Very close game. You had 2005 between the Spurs and the Pistons, which the Spurs won at home. And then, of course, you can't forget 2010 Lakers Celtics. Lakers won that one in 10. Big bucket by Ron Artest. 2013 Heat Spurs was also good. And how can we forget about 2016? 9 years ago, yesterday, I think it was, where the Cleveland Cavaliers won their first ever franchise championship by coming down 3-1 against the 73-9 Warriors. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be a good game, man. But, Bay, tell me, what did you see in game 6 last night?
I saw what I predicted. I saw a team that was going to come out and have all the energy because they're at home. I saw a team that was not going to lose at home. I saw a team that was going to be ready to take on anything and everything, and that's what happened, to the point where when Pascal Siakam dunked on Jalen Williams, once that happened, I went to sleep. I said the game is over. I knew the game was over at that moment. That was going to be a moment. First and foremost, win or lose, that's going to be one of those moments where we talked about, where You're gonna look back at NBA finals and like those montages and stuff. You're gonna see that moment, especially if the Pacers win. Um, but when they started off slow, I think they missed like their first 4 or 5 shots. I had no thought in my mind of switching up my prediction. I knew that the fans was not going to let that happen. That's one of those full of energy. The fans really led this moment games. And that's what I saw last night. That's why I said that even before that game happened, that it was going to be a blowout. It was nothing that I did. There was no reason for me to think otherwise, especially what happened in the OKC game. Simply because when you go to Gamebridge Fieldhouse, there's a different type of energy in that stadium. And I just knew that when Tyrese Halliburton also he comes out and he's gonna play that game, that team was not gonna lose that game. And then also think back what happened with the Denver Nuggets in game 6, the OKC Denver Nuggets game. OKC did the same shit. They did not come out ready. They did not come out to dominate. So it's not really nothing specifically that I seen. It's just what I thought was going to happen in the first place. OKC was not going to seize the moment. Indianapolis was not going to let their Pacers lose that game, and they was going to come out with much energy as possible, and they was going to say, "All right, let's just go ahead and get ready for Game 7 at home." Nothing tactical or anything like that because I felt like it was going to be a blowout anyway.
Dante, tell me what you saw from last night and what's your view as we head into Game 7.
I I picked Pacers in 7. I was disappointed last night though by OKC. I feel like I agree with everybody when you say that's the last attitude you need to have is all right, we got game 7 at home. And because I think when you have a team like Indiana with the way they've won games this entire postseason, the last thing you want to do is test fate and say, okay, let's go into a game 7. We could just knock this out at home. Now, I mean, at the same time, we've seen OKC, have it their way at times in the playoffs and really get what they want when they want to. And if you have another huge game from Williams, then hey, who knows what could happen. But for me, I think the effort in game 6 was the most disappointing thing to me that I saw. And it's like you said, once he got banged on, I'm like, yeah, this over. We can go ahead and wrap this up. They're gonna pack it in. And we see this often. Teams get their soul took on the court, and it's like we could be in the second quarter and you say, yeah, they're not even fighting, bro. They know what this is. And so for me, I'm just nervous that was a big mistake relying on the fact that you have a game 7. That's my biggest issue. I know Hallie's health, with that, once I saw that, even though he did play, it's no in hell. I would have had to come out hair on fire, guns blazing, bro. Like we got to end this shit tonight. Because the last thing you want to do is allow Indiana to again keep the confidence that they've had all season, because they know they don't fear teams. Like no matter how much people underestimate the Pacers, which at this point we shouldn't be doing, they don't fear anybody. So you have a situation where now you've given them one last opportunity, winner take all. Let's go at it. So I think this is going to be a classic game 7. But overall, my thoughts on game 6 is I was disappointed in OKC.
Yeah, to me, it was definitely a young team mistake there for them. And, I always say with any sport, when you have a chance to finish it, finish it. You never want to give the other team a chance to give more life. And game 7s are too tricky, bro. In any sport, game 7s are too tricky. I mean, just look at the last one. You had Draymond Green was shooting like Ray Allen from 3-point line in game 7. Granted, Cleveland won that game, but that's just type of weird stuff that happens in game 7. So, and I really believe that Indiana thrives off people not giving them anything. And now it's not, oh, we win this, we go to this game. The NBA championship is on the line. This season is over in 48 hours. This season is going to be over. And that to me is a scary proposition for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I think that if you're the Indiana Pacers, you know that those first 5-6 minutes are gonna be key. OKC is gonna come out like gangbusters. They're gonna be, thirsty. That crowd is gonna be loud. They just gotta get through the first rush. If you can get through the first rush, get out of the first quarter, maybe up by a couple points or down by a couple points, and make this a game heading to halftime, you got yourself a shot. Pacers have already proven then not only can they win on the road, but they can win in Oklahoma City. They did it in game 1. Could have probably did it in game 5 if if there wasn't injuries and things like that. You got a question. Ant says, if OKC loses game 7, are y'all more confident making it back to the finals than we thought 2012 Thunder were? I think that the thing with this league is you really can't be confident on anybody making it back to the NBA finals because we are officially in the parity era. And I think that I will probably like their chances a little bit more than 2012 just because James Harden was up out of there. Like, he was like, yo, I'm too good to be the third fiddle here. And I'm gonna find me a deal. And they traded him to Houston, and the rest is history. So just off that, I feel like they have a better chance in 2012. But nothing's guaranteed in today's NBA. We don't know what this landscape is gonna look like in like a month and a half. So I don't know. I give them more of a shot than I do Indy, though.
Hey, Scott, I'll give you one better. I'll go one better. If they don't win, they're gonna make a trade. If they don't win, if they don't win game 7, they're gonna make a trade because of everything you just said. There is no guarantee. Sam Presti done already been through this. Everybody felt like a dynasty was in the waiting for OKC when they went to the finals against LeBron and them. You felt like you was gonna be able to keep that team together. They was that team where, oh man, you don't want them to get a championship because they could roll off a couple once with that team. But that didn't happen. James Harden left, then KD left, then Russ was gone. I believe if OKC loses on Sunday, a big trade will happen. Somebody's going to come because Sam Presti's going to look and he's going to say, I can't stand pat. I can't take the chance that I did before because if I do try to take that chance, something might happen. Well, my son almost did the most dumbest shit ever. He almost put a juice in the damn microwave, y'all. I just had to stop. Like, what the hell going on? He was about to microwave some Tropicana, fam. I don't know what the hell going on in the bottle. But yeah, I think if it happens, somebody's gone. Chet, somebody's gone. I won't go as far as to name a team, but it would not shock me or surprise me. The team that we been saying, one of the teams that we've been saying should make a trade for Giannis, that team is OKC if they don't win on Sunday. Because you don't have to blow it up, but they got picks. They got a whole bunch of picks. They got a whole bunch of players. They got a whole bunch of people they need to pay. You see Jalen Williams doing what he did. Oh, man, that's great. That's fine. Him, a couple of picks, another player, take your ass to Milwaukee, and Giannis come over here. If that happens, if they lose, I will not be shocked or surprised if that happens.
They going to bring KD home. Or some shit like that. Catch I'm Not Gonna Hold You, hosted by Scott Lewis, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, only on HNB Media and the Barbershop Network.